You always need a coach because you can't see the back of your own head. You don't know the real source of the problem. You think your backhand is weak, but it's not a single technical flaw, other factors are forcing you into a passive position. As you can see from professional matches, if your backhand is weak, you won't get a chance to use your forehand. Sun Sha and Wang Manyu are so dominant because they gain the advantage with their backhand, then finish the point with their forehand. In a rally, players like Fan Zhendong will attack with their forehand after any backhand return that isn't to the wide corner. This shows why a weak backhand is a major liability. If your backhand is weak, you can't sustain long rallies, which means you never get a chance to use your forehand. My observation is that players with a strong backhand always keep their shoulder and elbow braced and stable. You can strengthen your elbow support for a more stable backhand. Get a training plate, put a dumbbell on it, and balance it on your upper arm while holding it bent and parallel to the floor. I used to hold 10 kilograms like that. Hold the weight level with your shoulder. As long as your elbow is braced, your backhand swing speed will increase. If your elbow moves around during the swing, your technique will fail. Watch the pros on TV, their elbows are always stable. Not a single one of them has a wobbly elbow. Look closely at Fan Zhendong's backhand, he always raises his elbow and then strikes the ball with a closed racket angle. So, try holding a weight on your elbow to keep it braced. Once you stabilize your shoulder and elbow, your backhand swing will be much faster. This was a mandatory part of our strength training when we were young. I rarely do specific backhand drills, yet my stroke feels solid. I attribute this to having a very stable and well-supported elbow. An unstable elbow will cause your entire stroke to fall apart. For a topspin backhand, you must keep that elbow braced. Your elbow cannot be soft. The slightest instability will cause you to lose control and make an error. So, you must brace your elbow. A stable elbow directly translates to a faster backhand swing. This will make your backhand incredibly consistent. The second point is about rhythm. The modern backhand is about attacking early, not waiting for the ball. Amateur players should also aim to hit the ball on the rise. Treat hitting at the peak of the bounce as your power shot, and treat hitting on the rise as your quick, leverage shot. Let's rally. Right now, I'm hitting the ball at the rising point. You can see the ball's pace has significantly increased. You should intentionally practice hitting on the rise to generate speed. In the past, this timing was considered risky and prone to errors. But the modern backhand trend, especially with men playing closer to the table, means you shouldn't worry too much about attacking the ball early. Because the backhand is a compact stroke, taking the ball early on the rise to leverage its pace is not a major issue. However, this only works if you are brushing the ball. If you are hitting it flat, it won't work. Hitting the ball flat on the rise is a sure way to make a mistake. You need to apply spin for control. If you brush the ball, hitting it on the rise is not a problem. All my shots now are on the rise. The third point for the backhand is that you must extend your forearm through the ball. Don't make the movement too small. The reason amateur players lack quality on their shots is that their stroke stops abruptly at contact. Look at any elite player, Sun Sha, Wang Manyu, Wang Chuqin, Fan Zhendong. Their backhands all show a powerful forearm extension. I think amateur players are missing this key element. You're afraid to extend through the ball because you fear hitting it long. When I teach kids, they often just touch the ball to get it over. I tell them, the more you just touch it, the more likely it is to go out. In reality, when you properly brush the ball with commitment, it's less likely to go long. By brushing the ball, you can control its arc and get it on the table, otherwise, the trajectory will be dictated by your opponent's spin. So, if you want to add quality to your backhand rallies, you must extend your forearm. I don't mean lock it straight, but you must extend forward and make solid contact with the ball. Don't be afraid of missing. I'll explain how to control it. As you extend your forearm, it must remain stable without any wavering. Any brushing sideways, lifting, or pushing motions are incorrect. The forearm must drive forward and then externally rotate. Look at Fan Zhendong's external rotation, it's very pronounced. Many of his high-quality shots from mid-distance involve upper arm external rotation. Drive forward with your forearm and make it a solid hit. Match their speed. Drive through the ball. Tell me why you sometimes can't get a good grip on the ball. I feel like my whole arm isn't very stable. Let me show you where the power comes from. After contact, your entire arm is loose and wobbly. You have to lock in the power at your wrist. Keep it firm. Generate the power from this area. Keep it tensed. When I say brace your forearm, it's not just about the large muscles, they will engage naturally. The problem is a lack of control at the wrist. If you don't secure it at the end of the stroke, the ball will fly out. You're losing power. Basically, you're overswinging. It's like generating power with your body but failing to brake at the end, causing a loss of balance. At the very end of your stroke, you must tighten up and secure the power. The backhand is an inward to outward motion. If you relax at the end, even if 80% of your stroke is correct, that final 20% will ruin it. You must lock in the power. After your forearm muscles generate force, you must tense the area where your wrist connects to your forearm. All my power shots are braced at this point. Your backhand should emphasize arm power and gripping the ball. If you don't grip the ball at contact, it will just fly off your racket. I can feel that locking sensation on my forehand and can generate power, but my backhand tends to be too loose. You have to focus on feeling this when you're hitting with power. It's not as important during soft rallies. Soft rallies are about timing. During powerful shots, you must focus on locking your wrist at the end. After every shot, your body and hand must be braced. This ensures your power shots don't fly and allows you to hit 5 or 6 powerful shots in a row. If you aren't braced, quality drops, you'll miss, and you won't be ready for the next ball. Focus on that area connecting your wrist and forearm. After the power is transferred from your forearm, you must secure it at the end point. When you get to this point, snap it shut. Lock it. It's the same for a backhand punch and a backhand rip. That's why I can hit with confidence. Fourth point, how do you avoid errors in a backhand rally? We tend to miss long when we add power. Let me explain why. My feeling during a match is that I am always hitting down on the ball. The ball is never visible in my line of sight. My backswing is here, and I can't see the ball in front of me. Normally, you can see the ball as it approaches, but my contact point is hidden from my view. To give an example, my body posture is always like this, though perhaps not as extreme. But that is the feeling I have for the ball. So why do we hit the ball long? I was coaching a player today with very standard technique. She kept hitting her backhand long. Look, even without much power, the ball goes out. Why? It's because your racket face is too open, which results in a flat hit. If your opponent puts even a little bit of topspin on the ball, your open racket angle will send it long every time. This is why even a simple block can go long. If they add a little length and spin, I'll miss. Some people say, I'm holding back and my stroke is compact, why am I still missing long? This is the reason. The more you fear it and try to just touch it, the more the ball will follow your opponent's spin. And the softer you hit, the higher the quality of their next shot becomes, creating a vicious cycle of errors. My advice is to always hit the upper half of the ball. You must cover the ball with your racket. We are talking about a backhand rip here, not a basic backhand drive. Although my racket has some angle at the point of contact during the backswing, it's actually completely covering the ball. As I follow through, the racket face opens up to create the arc. It's not a flat press, but at the moment of contact, it's closed. Go back and watch your favorite player's backhand. Pause the video of their backhand rip or find a slow motion analysis online. Notice how thin the contact is when they brush the ball. At that moment, the racket is definitely covering the ball like this. As the ball is projected forward and upward, the angle naturally changes. It's not a pure downward press. On the recovery, the racket is closed again. Only with this technique can I generate power safely. In a match, if I miss 2 or 3 backhands, I immediately know the problem is with my backswing preparation. So, at the very first instant of contact, I make sure to brush the ball just like this. Once I get that brushing feeling, I extend my forearm. The starting motion is different from the finishing motion because of the low to high swing path. So, during the low part of your backswing, right before contact, start brushing the ball from a closed racket position. After you graze the ball, use your arm strength to create the arc and follow through. In the initial phase of your backswing, the first 30% of your forward motion where you make contact, you must brush the ball thinly from a closed racket position. Contact the upper half of the ball to keep it down, then use your forearm to push, extend, and drive through it. Many players have this problem. It's not that you don't practice your backhand enough, it's that your natural feel for the backhand isn't as good as your forehand. So as you continue to train, you must integrate these proven concepts into your technique. Otherwise, you'll practice for years and still feel uncertain in matches. This is what I want to share, how I can generate and trust my power during high-quality rallies. Fifth, you must learn to use your opponent's pace. The backhand is the easiest stroke for leveraging power. For example, if he hits with quality, all of my returns are using his pace. I am not generating any of my own power. To have a great backhand, you must learn to use their pace with a contact point in front of your body. Bringing your backswing further back is for generating your own power. And against a slow ball, you must learn to pull your arm back, wait, and then generate power. If you master these 3 timings, your backhand will be solid. The difference between these 3 depends on your opponent's level. A beginner can't wait to use their opponent's pace because there is none. Your opponent is just pushing or blocking, maybe hitting one quick shot. Their balls are relatively short. Against this type of player, at the beginner level, you must learn to use a bigger backswing to generate your own power. Let's simulate a beginner's rally. If you try to use their pace, you'll find yourself reaching in off balance. So in this situation, you have to wait for the ball and then actively generate force. I'm not trying to hit a winner here, just a solid, active shot. Many amateurs need to learn to use a fuller backswing in backhand rallies. You keep getting jammed because you aren't adjusting your backswing to the incoming ball. What often happens is a player starts by generating power, but as the opponent's quality increases, they get jammed and resort to just blocking. That passive block then sets up a high-quality attack for your opponent. You always need a coach because you can't see the back of your own head. You don't know the real source of the problem. You think your backhand is weak, but it's not a single technical flaw, other factors are forcing you into a passive position. So, against a beginner's slow, short ball, you must bring your racket back for a full swing to initiate your own attack. Second scenario, when you and your opponent are evenly matched and trading solid shots but neither is overpowering the other, you must be the one to initiate power. This means moving your backswing preparation point from close to your body to about 30% further forward. This is your active power position. When they leave you an opening, rip the backhand with more quality. The third scenario is high-level play. When you loop to my backhand, my return feels so fast because I'm not blocking it, I'm grazing it with pace. Against a mid-distance loop, I won't just block, as that gives up the initiative. Your opponent will just attack again. So, you have to brush the ball back with pace. Keep your hand in front of you, at about the 50% completion point of your stroke. Of course, if they hit a massive power loop, you have no choice but to swallow your pride and execute a defensive block. But in most rallies, because the backhand contact point is in front, you can always use their pace and brush the ball back aggressively. If your opponent is hitting with this kind of quality, you can just keep brushing it back. It will make them very uncomfortable. Keep looping, and my quick brush will jam you every time. This shot is the same as when you rip a backhand at me. When you attack like this, never just block passively. A passive block just sets them up to attack again. You have to use their pace against them. As the attacker, the last thing you want is for your opponent to successfully counter your power shot. If your return is too slow after their power shot, you'll be out of position for the next 2 balls and won't keep up with the speed. So, when your opponent is also attacking proactively, you can absolutely continue to brush the ball back quickly. When leveraging pace, you want them to hit with quality. The harder they hit, the more likely they are to make an error on the next shot. Move your backswing point forward from your body to the 50% mark of your follow-through, and start brushing the ball from that point. For example, if you're looping with your forehand, I'll brush from this forward contact point. This ball is extremely awkward to handle. See? Brush, brush. Eventually, you get jammed and your technique breaks down. So, Rule 1, against a low-quality, slow ball from a beginner, pull your racket back close to your body to time it correctly. Pull it back, and you'll find the timing. Rule 2, when you're in an even rally where neither player can generate overwhelming power, move your hand forward about 20 to 30% from the retracted position. From here, you can initiate power more proactively and match the rhythm. Rule 3, when your opponent hits a high-quality shot, like a first ball loop, your hand must be in front to brush it back. Brush. Keep brushing it back. This shot will jam their forehand too. They won't even have time to react. Most amateurs struggle with backhand timing. The ball is either too short or it jams them. This is different from forehand technique. Against a normal power shot, a standard block is fine. When the opponent's shot is weak, do not reach forward to generate power. When it's soft, pull back, then strike. When it's heavy, meet it in front, and strike. The problem isn't at the point of contact. The problem is in the space between your backswing and the incoming ball. You're either too far from the ball and reaching, or you're too close and getting jammed. Once you master this spatial relationship, your backhand will improve dramatically. This is why you can hit 100 backhands in practice, but in a match, you'll miss long or hit the net after just 2 shots. You miss long because their pace rushes you into hitting too hard. You hit the net because their pace jams you before you can complete your stroke. I love playing against pimples because their ball is always short. You must stay close to the table when playing against them. The deader their ball, the more you'll hit the net if you back up. You must stay close and just punch through the ball. After 2 solid punches, they will be the ones feeling awkward. Pimples are not as stable as inverted rubber. Our inverted rubber has a smooth surface. When we hit the ball, its trajectory is completely controlled by our stroke mechanics. But with pimples, the pips bend upon impact. They cannot fully control how the pips deform, which is why their game relies so heavily on touch and feel. This is why pimples players love to give you a tricky, easy ball that you attack and miss. So why attack it? Your strategy should be to outlast them. Block it, punch it, stay close and pressure them. If their ball is slow, you must retract your arm fully and then generate power. If their ball is fast, meet it in front and brush it quickly. If your opponent's quality is average, move your backswing forward by 20 to 30% and generate power from there. If their ball is slow, pull your arm back close to your body to generate power. If their ball is fast, meet it at the 50% forward point and brush it. Trust me, only with this adaptability can your backhand handle all the different types of opponents: lefties, righties, penholders, shakehanders, high arc loopers, flat hitters, men, women, and tricky veterans. Whether they are a raw beginner or a seasoned veteran, this is how you can compete. If you lack this ability to adjust, you'll find yourself going back to practice, but no matter how much you drill, it won't work in a real match.